Well, thank you. There's a lot of thank yous I got to get to before we can be dismissed. And really, there's one guy in this room, and he flies under the radar a little bit, being recognized, but he was a teammate. He's a guy who saw this vision. He's a guy that saw what this program can do. You guys were able to execute it. But this guy is the one who saw the invisible, and his family. And I really got to give a big shout out to Dan DeRose and his wife Carrie for seeing the invisible. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for letting these guys come together and be great friends. Nita and Eddie DeRose, we get to play in your stadium. Thank you for having that opportunity. Let's give it up for Nita and Eddie DeRose. A lot of guys don't realize this, but Eddie, Dr. DeRose, he's a smart man. Last year, after watching our spring ball, after watching the spring game, he went ahead and printed t-shirts that said 2011 RMAC champs. You guys executed the plan. Eddie, please don't print any more t-shirts before. We'll do it afterwards. But again, thank you for letting us play in the stadium. Thank you for letting us represent the DeRose name in the best way we can by playing for each other and laying it on the line. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I really have learned a lot being a head coach. And I have to owe a lot to my athletic director. He was a former coach. He laid the plans through the administration to the CSU system. And I can tell you, he's become a great friend of mine, and I really appreciate what he's taught me. And I can't thank him enough. And that's our AD, Joe Folder. Thank you. We have a great athletic staff and administration. I know they're not here. We got a big wrestling match tonight. And that was Jeremy Capo, Nikki Whitaker, Todd Kelly, Anthony Sandstrom that handled all the pictures and did that. So let's give it up for them as a 2011. I'd like to thank one guy. Come on up here, Trevor Sewell. You guys realize that Trevor Sewell was one of our starting guys our very first year. He realized that maybe college football was not for everyone, but he still wanted to be around and be a part. I'm telling you, without Trevor's hard work on our video department, we would not be as successful as we've ever been. Trevor broke down tape. Took it from the computer, had to mark it up, offense, defense, kicking game. Everybody took that for granted. We all did as coaches. I don't know how we're going to be able to replace you. And from the bottom of our heart, as a coaching staff, as players, you are the most valuable player of the 2011 season. Thank you, Trevor. We have a good gift for you. I also like to thank our managers, Ayla, Mallory, Amanda, Christy. Please stand up. Do you realize they don't get paid anything? We don't have a budget for them. They come out here and they first of all, you need to get paid a whole bunch for putting up with Coach Hughes all the time. So we really appreciate all you've done. Appreciate you being a factor in our success. It's a team, and you're a big part of it. So thank you so much. Players, please give it up to them. You know, the voice of the Thunderwolves, Jim Brooks, you're the very best. And if you would have started earlier, you might still be on ESPN like you'd started, you said you're going to be in high school. But you are great. We really appreciate it. And Joe Surrey for his work with the Pueblo Chieftain. Joe's not here, but let's give it up for one more time for Jim Brooks. You know, we talked about, you heard my assistant coaches. I couldn't ask for a better staff. In my opinion, I got the best staff in the state of Colorado. It's all through the Front Range. I don't care whether it's Division II, Division I, whatever. I have the best staff, and I'm going to go through it real quick. Bernard and Corinne, appreciate it. Sam and Steve, Chris and Marty, Hunter and Steph, Donnell, Lauren, Paul and Kathleen, Mike and Kimberly, Dell and Patsy, David and Angelina, Stig and Janess, Billy and Terry, Roxy and Marianne, Wardo and Annette, Carl and Susie, and my fiance. Thank you for being a team. Thank you for help supporting us. We're a great big team. We all buy in it. We need everybody's help. You guys are definitely a big part of it. So players, you don't realize all the time and energy that these guys put in and spend away from their families. So please, give it up one more time for the coaches. You know, we had a new addition to our team this year. It was our training room, our training staff. And in my opinion, being able to get the right guys on the right bus at the right time, headed in the right direction, was what was missing in our first 3 years. And I can tell you, Roger, I'm very lucky to have you. I think you're a big-time trainer. Laura, thank you for letting us have him during football season, because without him, I don't think we could have won this championship. So, Raj, I really appreciate what you've done. Thank you. Well, Alan and Steph, you're the very best. I keep saying that, but you are the very best. And I'm very honored and humbled to have you part of this. I'm very honored and humbled to be able to go to work with you. And you have taken these guys where they can't take themselves. Steph, you make the best chips and salsas at our parties, and so keep doing that, Steph. So we really appreciate it. Thank you again. Thanks for being part of the Thunderwolf family. We really appreciate it. Give it up for Alan and Steph. One last big thank you. Pastor Steve, are you still around? Pastor Steve and his crew, they donated all this food. They donated us a chance to have here. But you know, he donates his time. He comes and gives a passionate talk every Saturday. I really, really appreciate everything that they've done, Elevate, and they've done here. But Pastor Steve, I can tell you, you're special. You're very much a part of our coaching staff, and we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for being a part of a champion. Thank you for bringing the RMAC. Thank you for bringing that vision together, and then some. Give it up for Pastor Steve. All right, I'm going to finish up some thoughts real quick. You got to visualize with me. Seniors, it's about the 2011 crew. You remember our recruiting? Remember that hole in the ground we're trying to say? Then Kyle McCall, you walked through and there was a 2x4, you almost fell down the stairs there. We're trying to remember that. I remember Lee Meiser, we were trying to recruit Lee. We're at Csu up there watching the practice, and Coach Hughes goes, I think that's Lee Meiser over there. Sure enough, it was. By the time we got everybody come together, it was a great vision. You guys bought into that vision. You bought into that hole in the ground that was out there to be in one of the most impressive stadiums in the RMAC. I also like to think or talk about this Jamal Johnson. We talked about a little bit earlier. Do you remember the first practice we had at Dutch Clark? It was early in the morning. We had guys wearing Central High helmets. The other guys were wearing Pueblo West helmets. And boy, did we not look like the Bad News Bears. And I think my first comment was, we're the worst team in America. Because we were. But you know what? You bought in from that first practice. And Jamal, you stayed with it, and I always will be indebted to you for your passion and the way you handle it. So thank you again, Jamal, for being the first Thunderwolf to finish this all the way through. Let's give it up for Jamal. August 6, 2008. You guys don't remember that date, do you? Anybody remember that date? Practice. What is that, Kyle? First day, Midnight Madness. They thought they could only do Midnight Madness in basketball. Well, you know what? We were so excited to show the world, show the state of Colorado, show there's a new team on the block. We started August 6, 2008. Too bad you didn't understand what the shuttle was coming out of high school, most of you. But you sure learned pretty fast, didn't you? You guys will always remember that first night of being able to set that standard. You guys learned. You did it, and I really appreciate you buying in and staying with it. The other thing that happened on August 6, 2008, you started to develop a friendship. You started to develop a heartbeat. And just think, 2011, 2012, we stand here, we can actually say we were one team, one heartbeat. It's because it started August 6, 2008, in all reality. I can tell you, I will have a vivid memory of that night for the rest of my life. It was unbelievable. The trust. We talked about trust, patience, and faith as our core values. I can tell you, you guys lived it, you demonstrated it, and you executed it. I'm telling you, there's not a bunch of guys that really buy into that, but when you buy in and you have 36 guys that were lined up here, been here 4 years, they bought into trust, faith, and patience. You know what also they did? These 36 guys that are here, every one of them is going to graduate. They're on track to graduate. If they don't graduate with only a semester left, I'm going to chase them down. They will graduate and they will represent Csu Pueblo in a first-class manner for the next 40 years. And you know what you've done for the next 40 years, guys? Is you develop a memory. You develop a kinship. But also what you've done is on Sunday morning, when you open that paper, you're going to see what the Thunderwolves do. You're going to say, that was my team. That was me that started that. I was part of something special. Oh, they're playing Mesa this week. They're playing Mines. Oh, I'm working up in Golden, being a part of it. I'm going to go see it. You'll be at tailgates. We're all going to be linked together. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that wonderful? That August 6, 2008, it started. It also started with a guy that had a vision. And that's what it was all about, because he was one great teammate. I also want to tell you, there's another guy that's part of our coaching staff I forgot to introduce. A guy named Chase Vaughn. Chase, would you please stand up real quick? Chase was our first All-American. Chase was our first defense end that went on and did some things. Right now he's signed a contract in the Canadian League. He's out here working out. But he also is coming back and he wants to see what coaching's all about. So he's part of our staff. So I'd like to honor our first All-American, and that is Chase Vaughn. You also, that first year, we had to understand what fun was all about.